Imagine a mind that operates as a high-fidelity structural engine, capable of mapping the world's most complex digital architectures. This same system often fails when processing raw, uninsulated human intimacy. This emotional shutdown is a literal hardware bottleneck. For an analytical brain, a sudden surge of unpredictable data triggers a high-magnitude overflow error. The brain relies on visual working memory to hold active information, normally accommodating 4 to 7 discrete items. But high-entropy emotional data instantly saturates these registers. This forces a massive drop in capacity, leaving only 1 or 2 functional processing slots. Forcing raw emotion onto an architect brain functions as a denial-of-service attack, crashing the very cognitive structures required to understand the message. Attempting to process this parallel data overload results in a rapid, critical depletion of ATP, the brain's irreplaceable energy reserve. To prevent total metabolic failure, the system deploys an emergency defense mechanism, the KATP bioenergetic brake. These channels snap shut to protect remaining energy. This brake hyperpolarizes the neurons, effectively halting cellular excitability and stopping the transmission of signals. Externally, this manifests as an involuntary cognitive freeze. The prefrontal cortex goes dark, and the mental terminal clears to preserve baseline metabolic stability. Successfully connecting with this mind requires an engineered structural patch, a translation protocol that delivers data without triggering the biological security system. This protocol relies on perceptual rescue. You translate terrifying emotional content into the native structural language the architect already understands. To save energy, the brain utilizes automaticity, allowing highly familiar patterns to be processed by the subconscious on autopilot. By framing a relational need as a specific rule-based puzzle, like these discrete building blocks, you shift the interaction from a personal threat to an objective engineering challenge. This utilizes the Vection illusion. Just as a stationary passenger feels movement when the train next to them rolls away, presenting a familiar analytical structure tricks the architect's brain into feeling it can safely move forward into the interaction. Framing vulnerability as a collaborative project allows the system to process intimacy without alerting the prefrontal cortex to the emotional stakes. This rescue also requires the elimination of encoding competition, the struggle for space inside those limited working memory slots. Social interactions involve massive parallel threats. To prevent a bottleneck, you must linearize this data using the PREP framework: point, reason, example, point. This unspools the chaotic knot into a single orderly sequence, feeding the brain one bite-sized packet at a time. This linear pacing allows the central executive to compress complex relational data into a single, manageable chunk, preventing the bioenergetic brake from triggering. By performing this prefrontal labor, you insulate the transmission, actively protecting their metabolic baseline from the stress of unstructured data. With the architect's data port held open, you can deliver the actual payload, the intense infatuation that standard models often dismiss as irrational. Peer-reviewed research into cognitive ecology proves that these nonlinearities are highly adaptive. Under quantum decision theory, crazy love is mathematically predictable. Consider the Tungura frog. Its mate choice decisions inherently violate classical economic models, yet these preferences represent a complex biological radar for fitness. Human infatuation functions similarly.
It is a biological algorithm designed to lock on to a reliable cooperation partner with high competence. This intense drive is an optimized evolutionary targeting system, calibrated to identify and secure a high-value partner. Antonio Damasio's somatic marker hypothesis reveals that pure logic cannot function without these emotional signals. People who cannot process feelings are actually unable to make rational decisions. Therefore, for an architect to avoid the data of intimacy is to practice knowledge avoidance. One cannot claim to be a rational actor while deliberately ignoring the telemetry of connection. True connection between two brilliant minds involves executing a structural translation protocol. By synchronizing these cognitive architectures, you establish a peer-to-peer equilibrium that the system is literally engineered to recognize.